and I want to see them have everything.
March of 1970. John Wayne arrived at a glittering Hollywood premiere and noticed something no one else seemed to see. A wounded Vietnam veteran sitting alone in a wheelchair at the very back of the crowd. What Wayne did next, turning away from the red carpet, the cameras, and every powerful name in Hollywood, would give one broken soldier a reason to keep fighting. Here is the story. Hollywood, March 15th, 1970. The premiere of Chisholm. It was the kind of grand opening only old Hollywood could stage. Limousines stretched down the block. Searchlights cut across the night sky. Photographers shoved for the best angles while reporters shouted over one another, desperate for a quote.
I think it was probably a very necessary thing at the time.
The red carpet ran from the curb to the theater doors like a royal pathway, bordered by velvet ropes and guarded by security at every turn. Fans packed the sidewalks shoulder to shoulder behind metal barricades. Some hoped for an autograph. Others just wanted a glimpse of their favorite stars. Every face in the crowd was turned toward the street, waiting for the main attraction. Then at exactly 7 o'clock, Wayne's limousine rolled to a stop. The crowd exploded with cheers. Flashbulbs burst like fireworks. Reporters yelled his name. Doors opened, and Wayne stepped out in a sharp tuxedo, carrying himself with the same commanding presence audiences had watched on screens for 4 decades. At 62 years old, he still looked every inch the legend. The routine was simple. Wave to the fans, smile for the cameras, walk the carpet, pose for photos, enter the theater. Standard premiere business. He had done it hundreds of times before. Wayne started forward, smiling and waving like the seasoned professional he was. Then he suddenly stopped. Something had caught his eye beyond the cameras, beyond the elegant gowns and tuxedos, beyond the excited crowd pressing against the barricades. At the very back, nearly hidden behind 2 rows of people, sat a young man in a wheelchair. He looked to be in his late 20s. His military haircut had grown out slightly. He wore a plain button-down shirt and slacks with no jacket despite the evening chill. His wheelchair was old, government-issued, the kind many veterans received when they had nothing else. And in his hand, he held a small American flag. He wasn't waving it. He wasn't calling attention to himself. He simply held it quietly, with dignity. Wayne's trained eye noticed the rest in an instant. The man had no legs. Both pant legs were neatly pinned at mid-thigh, a double amputee. He wasn't trying to push closer. He wasn't shouting Wayne's name. He seemed grateful just to be there, expecting nothing more than a distant view of the stars.
Well, at the time, it seemed rather serious.
Wayne froze. His publicist leaned in quickly. "Duke, the carpet..." But Wayne had already changed direction. He turned his back on the red carpet and began walking straight toward the rear barricades. Away from the cameras, away from the reporters, away from every celebrity waiting inside. The crowd parted in confusion. Security stiffened. Photographers scrambled to keep up, nearly tripping over one another. But Wayne never slowed. He reached the barricade and stopped directly in front of the wheelchair. The veteran looked up. Recognition flashed across his face, followed instantly by disbelief. Then Wayne lowered himself to one knee right there on the sidewalk, bringing himself eye to eye with the young man. His voice was gentle, almost fatherly. "What's your name, son?"
A country should feel terribly guilty about anything because they have had a better life here and their fathers and mothers than they would have had any place else.
The veteran opened his mouth, but when he spoke, his voice came out rough and uncertain. "Frank Martinez, sir." The young man swallowed hard, trying to steady himself. "Marine." Frank gave a faint smile. "Army, actually. 101st Airborne Division." Wayne glanced down at the neatly pinned pant legs, then back at the man's face. "When did you serve?" "2 tours, 68 to 70. Lost my legs at Kherson last year." Wayne's eyes moved to the small American flag still clutched in Frank's hand. "You still believe in that flag after what it cost you?" Frank tightened his grip around the little wooden pole. Yes, sir. Always will.
All get to thinking that they're Americans, as they should, and as they have luckily been born here and couldn't be better off in any other place.
For a moment, Wayne said nothing. Then he rose to his feet and turned toward the nearest security guard. "Get this man inside." The guard blinked in surprise. "Sir, we can't. Fire code won't allow wheelchairs in the aisles." "Then put him in a seat." "Mr. Wayne, there are no seats left. Every seat is reserved." Wayne's voice stayed low, but it carried like thunder. "He takes mine." The guard stared. "Your seat?" "My seat. Front row. Center. Get him there." "But, sir, where will you sit?" Wayne stepped closer. "I'll figure it out. Move." The hesitation vanished instantly. The guard waved over two others and rushed to comply. Wayne turned back to Frank. "You came all this way to see the movie?" Frank shook his head. "Truth is, I just wanted to see you, sir. From back there was fine. I didn't expect anything more." Wayne's expression softened. "Come on."
We are Americans. Anybody that wanted to join us was fine.
He reached for the wheelchair handles himself and began pushing Frank toward the theater entrance. The photographers stood frozen. The celebrities on the red carpet stopped mid-conversation. Fans watched in complete silence as the biggest star in Hollywood abandoned the carpet to escort a wounded veteran through the front doors. This wasn't how premieres worked. Movie stars didn't leave cameras behind for forgotten soldiers. But John Wayne just had. Inside the theater, Wayne pushed Frank slowly down the center aisle. Every seat was filled, every head turned. Whispers spread row by row. "That's Wayne." "Who's the guy with him?" "What's happening?" At the front sat the best seat in the house. Front row, center, reserved for John Wayne himself. Wayne locked the wheelchair brakes and helped Frank carefully transfer into the seat. Frank's hands trembled. "Sir, this is too much." Wayne shook his head. "No, this is exactly right." He folded the wheelchair and handed it to an usher. "Hold this for him." Frank looked up, eyes already wet. "I don't know what to say." "Don't say anything," Wayne replied. "Just enjoy the picture." He turned to walk away. Then Frank called after him. "Mr. Wayne?" Wayne stopped and looked back. "Thank you for everything. For the movies. For reminding us what we were fighting for. For this. For seeing me." Something tightened in Wayne's throat. He nodded once. "No, son. Thank you for your service, for your sacrifice."
And to this day, his kids say to me, "Come on, Eddie Maureen, you know more about Dad than anybody else. Tell."
Then he walked 3 rows back, found an empty side seat, and sat down like any ordinary guest. Not the front row, not the spotlight, just a seat. When the film began, Wayne barely looked at the screen. Instead, he watched Frank. In the glow of the projector light, he saw something changing. He saw Frank laugh during the action scenes. He saw him lean forward like a child at the movies. He saw a wounded veteran slowly disappear and a man return in his place. Sometimes being truly seen can do what medicine cannot. The movie ended 2 hours later. Credits rolled. Lights came up. Before the crowd could rush forward, Wayne was already moving down the aisle toward Frank. "Well?" he asked. "What did you think?" Frank's face was bright, alive in a way it hadn't been outside. "That was incredible," he said. "Thank you for letting me see it from here." He paused. "I've never been in the front row of anything in my life." Wayne reached into his tuxedo jacket, pulled out a business card and wrote something on the back with a pen. He handed it over. "This is my personal number." Frank stared. "Not my agent, not my publicist, me." Wayne held his gaze. "You need anything, and I mean anything, you call that number. Understood?" Frank looked at the card like it was made of gold. "Sir, I can't." "Yes, you can." Wayne's voice turned firm. That's not a Hollywood promise. That's a man's word. Frank swallowed hard and nodded. I will. Thank you. Wayne reached out and shook his hand. Firm grip, steady eye contact. Take care of yourself, Frank. You too, sir. Then Wayne slipped out through a side exit. No more cameras, no interviews, no speeches. Just gone. Frank remained in the front row seat, holding the card in both hands. Security eventually helped him back into the wheelchair and guided him outside, but he barely remembered the ride home. All he could think about was the handwriting on that card. A phone number, a promise, a lifeline from one of the most famous men in America to a soldier the world had forgotten. Most people would have framed it, hung it on a wall, told the story forever, but never dared use it. Frank nearly did. For 3 weeks, the card sat on his kitchen table. Every morning he looked at it. Every night he wondered if Wayne had really meant it. Then reality arrived at his door. Frank's U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs disability check was not enough to cover both rent and food. Every month became a calculation of what could wait. Groceries or electricity, medicine or gas, hope or survival. He had applied for 15 jobs in 3 weeks. Warehouses, offices, stores, bookkeeping clerks, anything he thought he might be able to do. One by one, the answers came back the same. No openings, not qualified. We'll keep your application on file. No one wanted to hire a double amputee with no college degree and only a high school education earned at 17 before he enlisted. At 28 years old, Frank was staring at eviction notices, overdue bills, and the terrifying possibility of becoming one of the forgotten veterans sleeping on sidewalks while the country walked past. For 3 weeks, John Wayne's business card sat on the kitchen table. Frank picked it up every day, set it back down every night. Finally, with rent due and nowhere left to turn, he lifted the phone and dialed the number. He expected a secretary, an answering service, maybe nothing at all. Instead, Wayne answered on the 3rd ring. Hello? Frank nearly hung up. Mr. Wayne, it's Frank Martinez from the Premier. You said I could call if... Frank. Wayne's voice warmed instantly. Good to hear from you, son. What's going on? That simple kindness broke something open inside him. Frank told him everything. About losing his legs, about not being able to find work, about unfinished schooling, about bills piling up, about feeling like his life had ended before it had truly begun. Wayne listened in complete silence. No interruptions, no false pity, no polished speeches. When Frank finished, Wayne asked only one question. If you could do anything, what would it be? Frank stared at the wall. No one had asked him that in months, maybe years. I'd go to school, he said quietly. Finish my education. Get a degree in something I can do sitting down. Accounting maybe, office work, something that doesn't require legs. There was a pause. Then Wayne said, Okay, here's what's going to happen. Frank gripped the receiver tighter. I'm going to connect you with someone who handles GI Bill benefits. You're going to finish school, then community college, then a 4-year degree if you want it. Mr. Wayne, I can't afford any of that. The GI Bill covers tuition, Wayne replied. And what it doesn't cover, I will. Frank's voice cracked. Why would you do this? For the first time, Wayne hesitated. Because you served. A beat passed. Because you sacrificed. Then softer. Because this country owes you more than a wheelchair and a disability check. Another pause. And because I couldn't serve when I should have. This is the least I can do. Frank covered his eyes with one hand. I don't know what to say. Say you'll do it. Wayne's tone sharpened with purpose. Say you'll finish school and build a life worthy of the legs you gave up. Frank sat up straighter. I will. Say it like you mean it. I will, I promise. Good. Someone will call you tomorrow. Follow their instructions. Work hard. Then Wayne added one final line. Make me proud. I will, sir. Thank me by succeeding. The line clicked dead. Frank remained seated in the silence, holding the phone in both hands. And for the first time since coming home from war, he cried from hope. The next morning, exactly as promised, a Veterans Benefits counselor called, someone Wayne knew personally. Paperwork was filed, applications submitted, appointments arranged. Within weeks, Frank was enrolled in an adult education program to complete his diploma requirements. 6 months later, he finished. Soon after, he entered community college in an accounting program. Tuition was covered. Books appeared at the registrar's office with no sender listed. When he struggled getting across campus in his old wheelchair, a newer one arrived at his apartment with a short note tucked inside. For school, good luck. Frank knew who it was from. He never asked. He simply worked, harder than he ever had before. Straight A's, Dean's List every semester. 2 years later, he earned his associate degree and transferred to a 4-year university. Wayne never called asking for praise, never demanded updates, never reminded Frank of what he had done. He simply paid what needed paying and stayed in the background, allowing Frank to build his future without the burden of feeling owned by gratitude. In 1974, Frank graduated with a bachelor's degree in accounting. He was hired by a small firm that valued skill more than appearance. He passed his exams, became a CPA, and in 1980 opened his own practice. Successful, independent, respected, a life rebuilt from ruins. But through every milestone, he never forgot. Not the premiere, not the front row seat, not the business card, and never the phone call that changed everything forever. The years moved forward, and Frank Martinez built the life he once believed had been lost forever. His small accounting practice grew steadily. One client became 10. 10 became 100. He hired staff, opened a larger office, and whenever he had the chance, he gave jobs to fellow veterans trying to start over. Many of them were disabled. Many of them had heard the same lies Frank once believed, that their best years were behind them, that injury had erased their value, that survival was the most they could hope for. Frank made it his mission to prove otherwise. He specialized in helping veterans navigate taxes, benefits, disability planning, and long-term finances. He spoke at U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs hospitals and community centers, telling wounded soldiers that education could become the bridge from broken to whole. He spoke with authority because he had crossed that bridge himself. Sometimes, late at night after the office emptied and the phone stopped ringing, Frank would think about calling John Wayne one more time. He imagined telling him everything, that the gamble had worked, that the scared young man in the wheelchair had become something more, that his kindness had not been wasted. But he never made the call, because Wayne had only asked for one thing: succeed. And Frank was succeeding. That was the thank you Wayne wanted. Then came June of 1979. Frank opened the newspaper and saw the headline: John Wayne was dead, stomach cancer, age 72. Frank closed his office for the day without saying much to anyone. He went home, sat alone at the kitchen table, and opened the drawer where he kept the original business card from March of 1970. 9 years old now, soft at the corners, worn from years of being carried in his wallet. He ran his thumb over Wayne's handwriting. The phone number he had called only once, the number that had become a lifeline when everything else was falling apart. He never got to thank Wayne in person. Never got to show him what became of that broken veteran in the wheelchair. But maybe he had thanked him. He had lived it, built it, become it. And perhaps that had always been enough. Then came 2002, 23 years after Wayne's death, 32 years after the night of the premiere. Frank was now 60 years old. He was a successful accountant, a respected advocate for disabled veterans, a husband, a father of 2, and the owner of a life he once came within inches of losing. A reporter working on a story about veteran success sat down to interview him. "How did you go from war injuries to business owner?" she asked. So Frank told the story. He told her about the premiere of Chisholm, about sitting at the back of the crowd in a wheelchair expecting nothing, about Wayne turning away from the red carpet and walking straight toward him, about the front row seat, about the business card, about the phone call, about tuition payments that arrived quietly, about belief when he had none left for himself. When he finished, he simply said, "John Wayne saved my life." The reporter paused. "In what way?" Frank leaned back and answered carefully. "Not dramatically, not heroically, practically. He saw a broken veteran and gave him the tools to repair himself. Education, opportunity, confidence that I could be more than my injuries." She asked another question. "Did you ever tell him what his help meant?" Frank slowly shook his head. "I called him once. He helped me. Then he stepped back and let me build my own life." He smiled faintly. "That was the real gift. Not just money, not just connections. Trust." The reporter asked softly, "Do you think he knew how much it mattered?" Frank touched his wallet, where the old business card still rested after all those years. "Yeah," he said, "I think he knew, because he didn't do it for gratitude. He did it because it was right. And men like that don't need to hear thank you. They just need to see you live well." The article ran in a small veterans magazine with limited circulation. But stories have a way of traveling when they carry truth. Veterans across the country read it and began writing in with stories of their own. Stories about Wayne helping quietly, phone calls returned, problems solved, rent covered, school arranged, jobs found, no cameras, no speeches, no demand for credit. A different picture of John Wayne began to emerge. Not the public legend, but the private man. Frank's story was only one example, but it revealed the pattern. See the need, meet the need, step back, let them rebuild. That is what honor looks like. Not on a movie screen, not on a red carpet, but in a return phone call, a tuition payment, a quiet act of faith that a man in a wheelchair was still a man full of possibility. What small act of recognition could change someone's entire future? Sometimes the greatest gift is not money, not charity, not rescue. Sometimes the greatest gift is seeing someone's potential at the exact moment they've forgotten they have any left. Today, Frank Martinez's accounting practice still operates, though he is mostly semi-retired now. He spends much of his time advocating for veterans, mentoring younger men and women rebuilding after service, speaking at community events, and writing about dignity, resilience, and second chances. Inside his office hangs only one photograph, a faded black and white newspaper clipping dated March 16th, 1970. In it, John Wayne is kneeling on a sidewalk beside a wheelchair, eye level with a young veteran. The moment before, everything changed. Beneath the frame sits a small brass plaque with 5 simple words. "He saw me. That was enough." No long explanation, no dramatic caption, no list of accomplishments, because Frank always believed that was the true gift. Not the money, not the tuition, not the business card, not even the opportunities that followed. It was being seen, being recognized, being treated like a man instead of a number. Wayne noticed Frank when everyone else looked past him. He saw potential in a wounded veteran sitting quietly at the back of a crowd, holding a small American flag and expecting nothing. And in doing that, Wayne gave Frank permission to see himself differently too, not as broken, not as forgotten, not as a burden, but as a man who had lost his legs, not his future. The original business card is still in Frank's wallet. The edges are worn smooth now. The ink has faded. The phone number no longer works. Wayne has been gone for decades, but Frank carries it anyway, not because he needs to call, because it reminds him that once, when life had nearly closed in around him, someone truly saw him and chose to act. That is the real story. Not a movie star performing charity, not a celebrity seeking praise, but one human being recognizing the worth of another and refusing to walk away. No cameras, no headlines, no speeches, just a returned phone call, a quiet promise, anonymous help, and a veteran given the tools to rebuild his own life. Years later, Frank was still building, still helping, still living the future that almost ended at 28 years old in a wheelchair at the back of a Hollywood crowd. All because John Wayne saw him and didn't look away. And in a world that often rushes past pain, maybe that kind of man feels rare now. If this story moved you, take a moment to like the video, leave a comment with your thoughts, and subscribe for more powerful stories from the golden era and beyond. We'll see you in the next video.